Is man indeed a walrus at heart? The question that's dawned man since the beginning of time. Are humans just walruses stuck in a human's body, or are walruses just humans stuck in a walrus body? Who knows? Apparently Kevin Smith does, because he made an entire movie about it. The Kevin Smith of Jane, Silent Bob, Clerks, and Dogma made this shit. The movie is basically just a gag that Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier, I forgot how to say his name. They thought about it on their podcast, and it was just like a gag, and then they made a whole movie out of it. I'm sorry if I sound sick. My allergies are going insane right now. They turned a dumb idea on a podcast into a full-blown movie. Meanwhile, I have whole video ideas that I can't even write a script for. So this movie lost like $1 million, and after watching the movie, I can see why. This movie pissed me off because I was intrigued, reeled in, bored, reeled in again, then I was bored again. Our main character is Wallace. Wallace is a douchebag that runs a podcast with his best friend Teddy and cheats on his girlfriend every chance he gets. Anytime they have to go anywhere for the show, Wallace comes up with any excuse not to bring Allie along just so he can, quote, get roadhead.
I also can't get roadhead if she's there either.
So I guess Allie just sits there and gives him road bed at the wheel. They get a video sent to them called Kill Bill Kid, which is just a kid swinging around a katana. It's a parody of a 2003 video called Star Wars Kid, where he just swings around a lightsaber. The only difference here is he cuts his leg off, and it does not look good. Teddy and Wallace, loving this video, decide they have to interview the kid, but he lives in Canada, home of insulin. Just throwing that out there. Teddy, not liking to leave the house, doesn't want to go, so Wallace goes by himself. The portrayal of Canada in this movie is so fucking funny, especially the dude at the airport. Got a couple chuckles out of me, especially when Wallace says that he doesn't follow hockey.
Don't really follow hockey.
Okay. Hands off the car, please.
So after some comedy at the airport, Wallace pulls up to the house and he sees flowers. Turns out the kid was bullied so much online, So Wallace, thinking this trip was a bust, finds a paper in the bathroom from an old man by the name Howard Howe. He claims to have lived a life full of adventure and is willing to tell his stories. And it's at this part of the movie where the board comes in. So Wallace pulls up to Mr. Howe's house. They have a little bit of back and forth until Mr. Howe offers Wallace tea and tells him a bunch of stories. By this point of the movie, it's been 30 minutes and nothing has happened. Nothing scary or disturbing, not even like an eerie atmosphere. And it was at this point that I was scared that I was tricked into watching a comedy spoof movie, especially after Wallace grabbed something off the fireplace.
That's a walrus dick?
I'm a dirty boy, aren't I?
Hell no, man.
Mr. Howe tells Wallace that after a shipwreck, he was stuck at sea and a walrus saved his life, and he named him Mr. Tusk. But in the midst of dying of starvation, Mr. Howe eats Mr. Tusk. And I guess Cosby showed Mr. Howe how to mix drinks because Wallace knocks the fuck out. We get a flashback of Wallace and Allie right before he leaves for Canada. Then Allie asks him to take her with him, and he just comes up with every excuse not to.
Like, if you're around, I'm not as funny as I usually am because you're a distraction, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
This whole scene, I couldn't help but look at that damn picture on the wall of the weenie dog because it is adorable and it reminded me of my dog.
You left your hoodie on my chair.
We transition to Wallace, who's now in a wheelchair, and this is one of my favorite parts. Mr. Howe tells Wallace he was bit on the leg by a spider and he passed out, so Mr. Howe had to call a doctor.
There's no leg there.
The whole time, Mr. Howe is trying to keep up his story and keep a straight face.
Spider! The spider bit you!
He even says that the doctor took all the phones throughout the entire house just so Wallace wouldn't be disturbed. At dinner, Wallace begins to piece together everything in his mind and confronts Mr. Howe. Mr. Howe responds by doubling down and singing.
The itty bitty spider crawled up the water spout.
Wallace, realizing he is in the room with a maniac, starts screaming. But Mr. Howe gets up from his wheelchair and just bitch slaps Wallace. Mr. Howe tells Wallace that he's made a very realistic Arctic walrus suit and that it would fit him perfectly. He also tells Wallace that while he's in the suit, he must act like a walrus, walk like a walrus, talk like a walrus, King Louis style. We cut to Allison talking to Teddy on how much she hates Wallace. And then we get a flashback of Wallace and Teddy talking in their studio. Wallace is talking about how much he cheats on Allie and Teddy scolds him for it. But Wallace doubles down and talks about how there's great ass out there. Teddy says while Wallace is gone,
"We're a significant other to the Getty because, in her words, you don't get art."
Oh, and Teddy and Allie have also been having an affair. While Wallace has been cheating on Allie, she's been cheating on him. That's great and all. Where's the fucking walrus? We're hitting the hour mark now, and I'm not seeing no Tusk. Wallace wakes up to his phone ringing.
Fortnite balls, I'm gay, I like boys, I kidnap autistic kids.
So Wallace, not picking up his phone in time, misses the call, and instead of calling 911, he calls Allie back. So after Allie doesn't answer, Wallace goes, hey, let me call the next best thing. He calls Teddy. Teddy does not pick up. Instead of calling 911 or any kind of authority, he calls Allie and then Teddy. Like, what are they gonna do? He's been kidnapped, amputated, and now wheelchair bound. Sure, Allie was calling him. He didn't pick up in time. First instinct, let me call back. She doesn't pick up. Why is Teddy your next thing? If you would have just called 911, half this movie wouldn't have happened. Mr. Howe creeps up behind and hits Wallace from the back.
What?
Mr. Howe smashes Wallace from behind. Mr. Howe bonks Wallace on the head, Martin style. Meanwhile, Allie gets the voicemail, so her and Teddy go to Canada. And then we see the surgery. You know, it's kind of funny that I have 2 videos on my channel now with a surgery regarding turning someone into a insect or an animal. Barely see any of the surgery. It's really just Mr. Howe talking while he's like threading needles up and down. And then we get a small preview of it like 20% done.
Better to be a walrus.
But then we finally get the walrus reveal of Mr. Tusk.
Walruses never cry!
And I couldn't help but laugh at how goofy this is. Yeah, it's kind of weird, maybe a little disturbing, but I waited an hour for this, and Mr. Tusk just looks goofy.
Mr. Tusk gives me the giggles.
So Allie and Teddy go to a police station in Canada, and they say they don't even have a record of a Howard Howe. The detective gives them the number of an ex-cop from Quebec who was here asking about a serial killer not too long ago. So Allie and Teddy contact Guy Lapointe. I'm just gonna call him Guy. He says for the last 10 years he's been hunting down Mr. Howe. I genuinely hate this scene. First off, that's Johnny Depp, if you didn't realize.
Howard Howe.
You could go for a bathroom break, grab a snack, go back to the bathroom, come back, and you'll still be only halfway through this scene. The scene goes on for 16 minutes and is supposed to be comedy, but it's some of the most unbearable and unfunny dog shit you will ever see. I mean, I get Depp's character is supposed to be weird and quirky, but he's not funny. And just when you thought the scene was over, we get another flashback of when Guy actually met Howe, and it is even worse than the fucking diner scene.
Oh, did you come here about this spider?
That mixed with the scene being almost 20 minutes long took me right out of the movie, and I was ready to just shut it off. Mr. Howe is talking about how great of a thing this is for Mr. Tusk, and then realizes he's probably hungry. So he brings Mr. Tusk a fish and hopes that he eats it like the walrus he is. And that scene was like a minute and a half, and then we cut back to this bullshit, and I'm so done with this movie. So they make their way to the gas station that Wallace stopped off at, and they use the notepad that Wallace used to write the address down, because for like the past week, nobody's used the notebook. Mr. Howe says today marks 15 years to the day that he ate Mr. Tusk to survive. He is now giving new Mr. Tusk the fighting chance old Mr. Tusk never got. In one of the most ridiculous scenes.
Say wallahi, bro. Say wallahi.
Allie and Teddy show up to the location and they hear Wallace screaming, so they make their way through the house. Mr. Howe tells Mr. Tusk that he's lasted longer than anyone else and that he'd probably kill him if he had the chance. So Mr. Howe breaks out of his suit to kill Mr. Tusk, but Mr. Tusk stabs him in the foot, starts stabbing him in the chest. Before he dies, Mr. Howe says that it's complete and Mr. Tusk has finally crossed that border and became the walrus he was always destined to be. Right at that moment, Allie and Teddy burst in and see the scene of Wallace going crazy. And Guy walks in and sees this abomination and raises his gun to shoot him. After he raises his gun to shoot him, we cut to black. And it was here I thought the movie was done. Yeah, that's not what happened. We get a time jump of 1 year later, and Allie and Teddy are going to visit a zoo. They throw a fish into an enclosure, and Mr. Tusk comes shimmying out. He starts eating the fish, and then we get another flashback, because the movie can't end yet, of Allie and Wallace talking how crying is good, and Mr. Tusk sheds a tear, showing that there's still some humanity in there somewhere. And then the movie ends. There's a lot I like about this movie and a lot I really don't like. After a while, I genuinely thought I got tricked into watching a spoof movie because there was nothing happening except comedy that wasn't even that funny. There's nothing disturbing here. And then later on in the movie, this shows up and I'm like, oh. And the funny part is it's not even that disturbing. Yeah, it's kind of disturbing to look at first, but later on in the movie, it's just like, all right, you kind of get used to it. It's not like the Human Centipede where every time you see it, it's like, oh, fuck. And the first 30 minutes of this movie not being anything really throws it off. So when the horror and disturbing elements do come in and they keep switching back and forth to that in comedy, it takes me out of the movie. And you don't even see the walrus surgery, which should be a big part of it. If they would have showed a little more of that and tremendously cut down the time Allie and Teddy and Guy are in the movie and really focused on Mr. Howe and how he tortures Wallace trying to turn him into Mr. Tusk, I think this movie would have been great. It would have been more psychological and disturbing, and the first 30 minutes would have been fine because then it takes a massive turn and then it's just serious most of the time. But the jumping back and forth, that shit, I was not a fan of it. I genuinely hated Johnny Depp's character in this movie, and that damn scene went on for so fucking long. The scene is 15.68% of the entire movie. That's a lot for one scene, and if you take out credits, the scene is like 16.49%. That's a massive percent for a scene, especially a scene as unbearable as that one. Yeah, I do think if they trimmed it massively down or even took out the whole subplot, it would have been so much of a better movie for that. Earlier comedy was okay, and then the disturbing elements come in and they reel you in with that, and then throw you back in the water with the comedy, try reeling you in again for like a minute and a half, and then throw you back in the water. I mean, it's fine. It's not terrible or bad per se. Sure, I'd recommend this movie. It's okay. I think I'd make a pretty good walrus.